business solutions, there is no limit to what you can imagine. It's time to reimagine banking. Centenary Bank, our bank. Personal growth to business solutions, there is no limit to what you can imagine. It's time to reimagine banking.
Thank you for joining us for our news bulletin. Here with me, Tandy Wemzmara. Let's have a look at our top stories. Pope Francis calls for unwavering commitment towards helping those in need. Parliamentary Committee on Social Services says debt negatively affecting education sector. Opposition DPP campaigns for Mutarika in Central Region. And in other news, Gabon coup leader Nguema sworn in as transitional head of state. We do have the details of these stories and more. Do stay with us. On his final day in Mongolia, Pope Francis inaugurated a new charitable center in Ulaanbaatar and took a jab at what he said are several myths mistaking charity as a money-making business that seeks to obtain conversions. Speaking to workers and volunteers at the new House of Mercy Center Monday morning, the Pope said one myth surrounding charitable work is that only the wealthy can afford to volunteer their time to serve others. The Holy Father noted that that reality tells us that it is not necessary to be wealthy to do good. Rather, almost always it is people of modest means who choose to devote their time, skills, and generosity to caring for others. We have more details in this Vatican News report read by Jacqueline Saidi.
Another myth Pope Francis said needs to be debunked is the Catholic Church, distinguished throughout the world for its great commitment to works of social promotion, does all this to proselytize as if caring for others were a way of enticing people to join up. According to the Holy Father, Christians serve in order to alleviate the suffering of the needy, because in the person of the poor they acknowledge Jesus, the Son of God, and in him the dignity of each person called to be a son or daughter of God. The Pope said he wanted the House of Mercy to be a place where people of different creeds and non-believers as well can join efforts with local Catholics in order to offer compassionate assistance to many brothers and sisters in the one human family. Pope Francis spoke on his final day in Mongolia shortly before heading to the airport for his return flight to Rome. He spent 4 days in the capital city of Ulaanbaatar, making him the first pope to ever set foot in the country and the first to get as close as he did to Mongolia's big regional neighbors, China and Russia. His Mass on Sunday afternoon was the first ever Papal Mass celebrated in the country. Mongolia is a majority Buddhist nation with a small Catholic flock who number less than 1,500 and are primarily served by foreign missionaries. Pope Francis, in several of his speeches, mentioned that bilateral agreement between Mongolia and the Holy See is currently being negotiated, which, according to Vatican spokesman Matteo Bruni, focuses largely on the status of foreign missionaries and their visas.
The Catholic Diocese of Lilongwe has held Tikondane Care for Children on and off the streets for its continued support to vulnerable children in the country. Vicar General, the Very Reverend Father Vincent Mwakwawa, said every child is supposed to be raised in a family set up for integral development, but amid a number of contributing factors, the organization is helping them a lot. He made the remarks over the weekend on behalf of the Archbishop George Desmond Tabala when the organization celebrated 25 years of existence. Bernard Mwanza was there.
Tikondane ndagoma nayo. Bungwe la Tikondane imasamala imapuzita amapuzila ose.
Tikondane Care for Children was established in 1998 by the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, Msola, in collaboration with the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, under the guidance of the late Archbishop Tarcisia Siziai, to address the problems that are faced by children living on the streets of Malawi, particularly within the capital, Lilongwe. Having clocked 25 years in supporting the vulnerable children, the Archdiocese says it is excited to see the organization reaching out to children with different support for their spiritual and integral development. According to Father Vincent Mwakwawa, the Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, the Msola sisters have been so kind in sheltering and giving educational support to these children, a thing which needs to be upheld. He said Archbishop George Desmond Tabala is so grateful to the sisters' charism of showing love to these children and that this is to be extended to many children across the country.
These kids are coming from various corners of the diocese and other dioceses, so communities have to be sensitized about the root causes, but also about the children's rights, because most community members and leaders in the villages don't understand the rights of children. So the Archbishop wants this program to become part and parcel of the apostolate and the ministry of the whole archdiocese. All parishes have to embrace this apostolate of care for vulnerable children.
Tikondane project coordinator Sister Marie Sakina said the 25 years journey has not been so easy.
This has never been an easy task, but thanks to many support coming from locally and internationally, we have rise to this challenge. So it is a milestone that Tikondane have reached, but it is also a call for us for the next 25 years ahead of us.
On his part, Director of Social Welfare in the Ministry of Gender, Edward Chileka Banda, said government will continue lobbying for parents or guardians to take care of their children, for them to grow with proper guidance rather than being in the streets.
Because if they are not in the custody of their guardians as well as their families, anything can happen to the children. And that's why we see many children that go to the street, they learn bad behaviors, they interact with the criminals, and they become a security threat. So we are hoping that our hope is that every child that grows in the family would definitely have the care that that particular child is needed.
It is reported that Tikondane reaches out to over 700 vulnerable children every year, and so far they have supported over 600 children academically, who are now encouraging other children passing through similar tough times. This is Bernard Mwanza for Luntha News in Lilongwe.
Still on local church stories, His Lordship Bishop Montfort Stima of Mangochi says the diocese will embark on family apostolate since it is the center of all vocations. He said this over the weekend at Vincent Paloti Community in Balaka during a diaconate mass of Brothers Hermes Chaponda and Emmanuel Nyerere SAC. In his homily, Bishop Stima thanked families where parents love each other and teach their children how to pray, saying families are the first school of children. I will take that again. His Lordship Bishop Montfort Stima of Mangochi says the diocese will embark on family apostolate since it is the center of all vocations. He said this over the weekend at Vincent Paloti Community in Balaka during a diaconate mass of Brothers Hermes Chaponda and Emmanuel Nyerere SAC. In his homily, Bishop Stima thanked families where parents love each other and teach their children how to pray, saying families are the first school for children. Andrew Nandolo has more of the details.
Right Reverend Sitima refuted the claims by some parents that the church is not doing enough to mold servants of God in different vocations, saying if the families are not teaching their children a sign of cross, making sure children dress properly, the church cannot perform miracles to mold good priests, religious men and women, or even families.
If you want to have vocations as well as good priests, sisters, brothers, we need to do more on family apostolate. So first of all, we'll do a lot of catechesis, and that's what we have planned to do, especially this year as we are now celebrating 50 years jubilee of the existence of the Diocese of Mangochi. One of the things that we are going to do is to strengthen the family apostolate.
In his remarks, Father Michael Ndau, who is the superior delegate for Malawi and South Africa, said the Palatines community is ready to support Bishop Sitima, saying this is the way to go if we are to have good servants of God and his people in the church. Father Ndau thanked brothers Hermes Chaponda and Emmanuel Nyerere SSC for answering to God's call to the first stage of the sacrament of holy orders.
I would say yes, it's very important. As one of those who have been involved in the formation, I have come across in many occasions that most of the young people who come to the formation houses of priesthood, they come most of the time wounded from their own family upbringing. And it's really very important that it must start from the grassroots. That message hits the point. Like he said, it is from the womb that a child is chosen to become what he will be in the future. So the family apostolate is the center where we get all the vocations. Remember that the priest is chosen among the people and for the people. He comes from the family to preach to the family. So family apostolate is the center of all this, what we are doing in the apostolate of the Lord.
The Society of Catholic Apostolate was founded in 1835 by Vincent Pallotte. The Palatines started serving in Malawi in 2016 at St. Vincent Pallotte in Nchisi in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. The Malawi Mission of Palatines, which forms part of South Africa and Malawi delegation, belongs to Heart of Jesus province, headquartered in Friedberg, Germany.
Jean Galande Bernard reading a report filed by Andrew Nandolo. Parliament has called for cancellation of the country's debt and that money serving the debts should be channeled into the country's education sector, which is key to the economic development of the country. Speaking during an engagement meeting between some members of parliament in Malawi and visiting members of parliament from European countries today in Lilongwe, Chairperson for Social Services Committee of Parliament, Savel Kafwafwa, said the country must make sure that it invests more into the education sector that will reduce the country's rapid population growth. According to Kafwafwa, rapid population growth in the country can be dealt with if a girl child stays longer in school, saying this determines the number of children that girl child will have. Charity Shilanga was there and she reports.
Speaking during the meeting, Kafwafwa said educating girls increases the likelihood that their children will be educated, decreases infant and maternal mortality, decreases child marriages, and reduces population growth as educated women have few children. Among other things, Kafwafwa said educating a girl child also decreases gender-based violence, improves socioeconomic growth, which in turn increases women's participation in political processes, thereby promoting a more representative, effective government.
We could see the evidence that this hospital, which was an expansion of the previous place, just in about 15 years, the place has become, it's looking like small now. So we have ladies sleeping on the floor, while at that time, when this was constructed like 15 years ago, it was supposed to address that problem. So we can see that some of the issues that are happening out there, what people sometimes call unintended pregnancies. And by the end of the day, what is happening is it is putting pressure on the health sector and in other sectors of our economy. So we are emphasizing on two areas: economic empowerment to our communities, and also to make sure that we empower so much into the school sector. And for the government of Malawi to do that, we needed to make sure that the date, because about 1/3 of our national budget, as we are talking, it is all going towards date servicing.
Concurring with Kafafa, Roland Sesanchita, member of Belgian Parliament, who is also the leader of the delegation, said education is a powerful tool for empowering girls and women, as it provides them with equal opportunities and helps break social barriers, leading to gender equality and women's empowerment.
And you need to work with all of this to focus on education. We learned this morning that education of girls, but also of boys, is really important to improve all those rights. And we are going to visit this week hospitals and family centers. So we're going to see how you work and what you do to improve those rights.
The visiting members of parliament from European countries are part of the members of European Parliamentary Forum on Sexual and Reproductive Rights, EPF. They are from Romania, Finland, Portugal, Ireland, and Belgium. EPF is a network of parliamentarians across Europe who are committed to protecting the sexual and reproductive health of the world's most vulnerable. Charity Chilanga, Luntha Television, Lilongwe.
You're still watching news coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center, and today with me, Tandy Wenzimara. Let's have a look at the headlines before we proceed. Pope Francis calls for unwavering commitment towards helping those in need. Parliamentary Committee on Social Services says debt negatively affecting education sector. Opposition DPP campaigns for Mutarika in Central Region. And in other news, Gabon coup leader Nguema sworn in as transitional head of state. Proceeding with the news, the country's main opposition, Democratic Progressive Party, DPP's top leadership, has started drumming support for 2025 general elections with emphasis on unity of purpose. On Sunday, the party's organizing secretary, Chimwemwe Chipungu, and Treasurer General Japi Mhango told a political rally in Chinsapo that they need to vote for the party in the election if they are to bail themselves out of the economic woes that the country is currently passing through. Robert Edward has more of the details.
With about 25 months to the 2025 deemed to be highly dramatic and contentious presidential general elections, main opposition, DPP, has started positioning itself for the contest, with rallies in the deemed stronghold of the ruling MCP, drumming support for the party in political rallies, mainly capitalizing on the current high cost of living and unfulfilled Tonsa Alliance promises. After Nchinji on Saturday, party's Treasurer General Japi Mhango and Organizing Secretary Chimwemwe Chipungu told a rally at UNICEF ground in Chinsapo, Lilongwe on Sunday that the only way to remove Tonsa Alliance in power is to possess a national ID card, register for voting, and cast their ballot for DPP, arguing this is the only way of being sure of better economic times.
We remind them of what Professor Peter Mutarika said in the 2019 and the 2020 campaign. We say people should choose either politics and development. So we reminded them that it is only DPP that can bring development to this country, and assure them that 2025 we are bouncing back in the government. You know, we hear whispers that there's disunity in the DPP. That is totally false. We are a group, and in a group there are always disagreements and conflicts, but above all, we are all united.
The rally, organized by DPP's Lilongwe Urban District Governor Musa Saidi, did not specify other points of how the DPP would change the fate of the country's economy. On the ongoing cracks in the party, which has notably created divisions, the Zeroists said there are no disagreements in the party. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Balaka Police Station and Demeter Company have joined hands in sensitizing communities under Sub-Traditional Authority in Bilisi to protect the environment, with the communities themselves benefiting, yet they are destroying every day. Through a football match that the police station organized with support from Demeter Company, the community has been warned that the law will be executed to any person who will not respect the boundaries of using the forest for personal gains, as products found in the forest are serving the whole community and need to be respected. Rashida Matandika has more of the details.
The football match, dubbed 100,000 Kwaja Ipite, was a way of getting people's attention, as most community members are football fans. It was also the only way to get all decision makers attend the awareness meeting point, as mostly only women attend to awareness meetings, yet men are in the forefront of destroying the environment, being breadwinners. Here, while watching the game, the police disseminated the message against the malpractice of deforestation in the forest that the Demeter Company has in the area, emphasizing that the law will not spare anybody who breaks it, and the punishment will not only be fines but long-term jail terms. According to Community Policing Coordinator at Balaka Police Station, Sergeant Robert Njalamanu, their goal to reach out to a high number of people was a success.
Very much satisfied, because you have seen yourself the patronage here, women and men, boys and girls, they were here, and the message has gone viral.
In his words, Sub-TM PDC said the message that they have received is clear, and that he will lead his community to adhere to the warning that was given against the act of destroying the forest.
As a senior chief, it is now my law to hold meetings with my group village head, so that every group village head should be holding meetings in his area to protect this forest, because it is an important entity.
The winning team's coach, Patrick Kuzaro, said they will not only take the award as the only important thing that they got during the match, but will also use the message that was given to the community to protect the environment for the future generations' benefit.
As the youth, we understand our role as leaders of today and tomorrow, because our parents have played their part, and it is now our turn. We need to protect the trees in the forest so that we have something to show to our children, and as such, we will encourage each other to find alternatives of getting money.
On the day, Hungry Lions FC lost to Mbingwa United FC of Kitanda in post-match penalties with 5-4 goals and went home with 70,000 kwacha, while the losing team went away with 30,000 kwacha. One striker from Mbingwa United FC, Ashraf, also went home with 10,000 kwacha after emerging as player of the match. Rashida Matantika, Luntha TV, Balaka.
Now in entertainment news, reggae dancehall lovers will end the year with a golden bang, as two Jamaican reggae icons are set to light up Jar King's Reggae Jam Festival, which will take place on the 20th of October 2023. This was unveiled earlier today during an event which saw organizers sealing sponsorship agreements. In an interview, one of the organizers, Zelani Gondwe, said the show aims at soliciting funds for the construction of Nyabingi Tabernacle Conscious and Roots. She said the event, which will be held at Grand Business Park in Lilongwe, will have an electric performance of both international and local reggae artists. Here is part of what Gondwe had to say.
Reggae music is the music of Malawians. It's the most popular music in Malawi. And I think because of the love that people have for reggae music, the demand to see the makers of reggae music perform with our own reggae giants has been something that people have always wanted and have enjoyed from time to time, but not ever had a long and very full festival experience for. So 100% Reggae Music Show is also built, this 100% Reggae Music Festival is built on that desire for celebration of the music, the culture, as well as the fact that it is going to support the intentions and aims of the Nyabingi Council's community and the community in the building of the tabernacle and wider vision for the community project.
Now in international news, Brice Nguema, the leader of Gabon's military junta, has been sworn in as the nation's interim president. General Nguema led last Wednesday's coup against Ali Bongo, toppling the president shortly after he was named winner of a disputed election. In a speech after being sworn in earlier today, Nguema vowed to return power to civilian after free, transparent elections. However, he did not give a date for military rule to end. We have more details on this BBC News Africa report read by Jacqueline Saidi.
A military parade was held at Monday's inauguration, which took place at the presidential palace in Gabon's capital, Libreville. Sympathizers of the new military leadership attended the ceremony. Former minister from the Ulster government also showed up, but were bowed by a cloud of junta sympathizers. Speaking after being sworn in, General Brice Nguema defended the seizure of power last week, saying that it was a patriotic act. He quoted Ghana's former military leader and later elected President Jerry John Rawlings, saying that when the people are smashed by the leaders, then it's the military who must give them back their dignity and freedom. Nguema went on to describe new changes, which include a referendum on a new constitution, a new electoral law, and a new penal code, and a promise of free and transparent elections. There are, however, concerns that General Nguema's rule will be a continuation of the 55-year Bongo dynasty. Ali Bongo's father, Omar, was in power for 41 years before he died in 2009 and was succeeded by his son. The general spent most his career in the Bongo's inner circle and is even thought to be Ali Bongo's cousin.
And that also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis calls for unwavering commitment towards helping those in need. Parliamentary Committee on Social Services says debts negatively affecting education sector. Opposition DPP campaigns for Mutarika in Central Region. And in other news, Gabon coup leader Nguema sworn in as transitional head of state. My name is Tandy Wemsmara. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and do continue following the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Goodbye for now, and just stay safe.